Hi, this is Sid,
Hey, I'm Briar.
and welcome to MeidaiSay, a show about life here at Nagoya as a Meidai student. Today, we bring to you the top 10 best places that you can visit in Nagoya as a Meidai student.
While you're studying here at Nagoya University, you'll come to know the Higashiyama campus and the Sakai areas very well, but there's some other spots here in Nagoya that we think you would really enjoy. Want to get started?
Yes, let's go.
First, let's talk about Kawana Park.
So, as the name suggests, Kawana is a park near the university area, a little bit to the south, and a lot of students actually live there because the housing there is slightly cheaper. It's very popular among students. The park is a very good place for many things actually. You can, if you want to stroll, jog, just have a picnic on a nice, pleasant day, or if you want to work out, there's even an outdoor gym there. So it's a very multi-purpose, nice place to visit. At the same time, there's a lot of nice things around the park as well, and one of them is the Yamazaki River.
Yes, so the Yamazaki River is my personal favorite place to go for a bike ride in Nagoya. I'm a big bike rider, may not look like it, but I am. And you can reach the entrance to the Yamazaki River Parkway about 5 minutes from Kawana Park to the south. Along the way of the Yamazaki River, there's a lot of landmarks, beautiful scenery, parks, bridges. It's just a beautiful ride. You can easily take a 1-hour bike ride on the Yamazaki River.
And in addition to that, it's one of the most popular spots for cherry blossom viewing in springtime. So, as she mentioned, the section of the river where she likes to bike is full of sakura trees, which are when they're in full blossom in the spring season. It's a beautiful sight to visit.
Yeah, actually, it's the #1 spot.
It's the number one spot in Nagoya.
The #1 spot. You can always find a spot for Hanami along the Yamazaki River. It's perfect.
So Kawana you can access via the Kawana station on the subway Surumai line and bus services, and the Sakura portion of the Yamazaki River you can access via the Mizuho Undojo Higashi station on the subway major line. So do visit that. Next, let's talk about the Nagoya station, or more popularly, colloquially known as the Meidai area.
I love Meidai area. So there's lots of things to do at Meidai, as you will probably know. Shopping, going on day trips from Nagoya. It's bustling all the time, but I actually love to study at the Meidai area. There is a Starbucks on the 15th floor of the JR Gate Tower that has a city view of downtown Nagoya. It's fantastic. It also has outdoor seating, and usually it's not too packed, no matter what people will tell you. Another place I love at Meidai is Café du Ciel. It is on the 51st floor of the Takashimaya Department Building. Yes, so the view is spectacular. It's actually really popular for New Year's Day. So when you go out on New Year's Eve, the cafe is open on New Year's morning for the sunrise and coffee. It's fantastic. Highly recommend for dates.
In addition to that, how can you forget Midland Square?
You can't, no.
So, Midland Square is the tallest building in Nagoya. JR Towers used to be the tallest buildings in Nagoya, but then Midland Square was built, and then now it is the tallest building. At the 42nd floor, Midland Square has what's called the Sky Promenade. So, you buy the ticket, you go up to the 42nd floor, and then you get to view the entire city of Nagoya, well, as far as you can see, a 360 view, 360-degree view. It's
really
amazing. Yes, it's amazing. And they even have a cafe on the 41st floor, which also has the same views. So must go for, well, the best time I would recommend would be sunset to after dark, because then that way you can have the best views. I've personally enjoyed that place so many times. It's amazing. And the cafe is good too. Okay. And if you're not interested in the views, there's also the cinema. Midland Square is the biggest cinema you have in Nagoya. And whatever movies you like to watch, Midland Square is the place to go.
Yes, and they have a lot of international films there too, just in case you don't speak or understand Japanese.
Yes. So, well, Nagoya Station, as the name suggests, is the central station of Nagoya. It can be accessed via the Nagoya Station on the subway Sakuradori and Higashiyama lines, as well as you get access to Meitetsu, Kintetsu, and JR lines. And Meidai 17 bus from Nagoya Daigaku Station. Yes, there is a bus that goes directly from Nagoya Daigaku bus stop all the way to Nagoya Station. The name of the bus is Meidai 17.
Next is the Osu area, by far my favorite area in Nagoya. It's amazing. Okay, what can I say about Osu? Osu has shotengai, which are covered shopping streets, and they are packed with secondhand stores, cheap shopping, international food. It's incredible. It's incredible. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. Okay, so on a personal note, my favorite thing to do at Osu is vintage shopping. There are a lot of secondhand clothing shops in Osu. I got this in Osu. This was not planned. Everything is really affordable. They have vintage furniture stores as well. You can buy all kinds of different things in Osu. My favorite food in Osu has to be Osu Brazil. Yeah, Osu Brazil has Brazilian roasted chicken. It's so amazing.
My favorite is Jerry's Uno.
Oh, Jerry's Uno. This is getting personal.
In my opinion, the best Mexican food that I've had in Nagoya is Jerry's Uno in Osu.
Really?
It's amazing.
Okay, I have to go.
Highly recommend it.
One thing I really want to talk about Osu Kannon is, of course, there's a temple there. It's a big deal. It's a beautiful temple. However, there is a vintage market on the temple grounds twice a month. It's held on the 18th and 28th of every month. The best time to go is mid-morning, and you can find tons of stuff there.
Well, Briar is your one-stop shop for all vintage clothing-related matters.
It's true.
So, Osu area, you can access via the Kamimaezu and the Osu Kannon stations on the subway Tsurumai line. The Osu area lies between those stations, so it's walking distance. There's no need to choose one over the other. Secondly, it's close enough from Sakai as well. So if you feel like it, if you're in the mood for a walk, you can walk down from Sakai and you can reach Osu area very easily.
All right, next, Atsuta Jingu.
Atsuta Jingu. So, as one of the most revered shrines in Japan, Atsuta Jingu is said to house the sword of Kusanagi, Kusanagi no Tsurugi, which is one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan. It's a beautiful shrine. You can visit it all through the year, but especially, of course, they have special events, right? The best time to go there, in my opinion, would be the first and the last day of the year, where they have the special ceremony, which is about like the opening of the year and like the ceremonial closing of the year. It's really beautiful to watch. In addition to the fancy architecture and like the spiritual aspect of it, you can try Japanese street food that's there. Sometimes on festivals they have a lot of stalls as well. And right across the street from where the shrine is located, there is a very old style market street where you can buy all sorts of items that you can think of. It's not about one particular thing. It's not only cultural aspects. It's everything. It even has bars and even has small restaurants. It's a really nice place to visit.
Speaking of restaurants near Atsuta Jingu, the oldest hitsumabushi restaurant, which is an unagi meal, an eel meal,
Nagoya, like Nagoya Meibutsu.
Yeah. So it's famous Nagoya food. It's located right next to Atsuta Jingu. It's delicious.
And there's a big Aeon mall near the shrine as well if you're in the mood for some modern style shopping. Yeah.
Yeah, so the area is really cool to hang out, right?
Absolutely, it's really nice, and you can walk, you can jog as well, of course, and there's a lot of trees, a lot of fresh air as well. Yeah.
Can I talk about a pet shop in Atsuta Jingu?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there is a pet shop near Atsuta Jingu that specializes in abandoned dogs. So the pet shop, it's in the Aeon Mall, and you can go and visit the dogs. You can pet them, show them love. The staff love it when you come in and do that because these dogs, they're from the shelter in Komaki, and they love it when they get visitors. So if you're an animal lover, please consider going to Atsuta Jingu and checking out the pet shop in Aeon Mall.
So Atsuta Jingu can be accessed via the Jingu Nishi station on the subway major line, as well as the Jingu Mai station on the Meitetsu lines. Next, we're going to talk about the Fushimi area.
The Fushimi area. So this is arguably the cultural area of Nagoya City. It has the Nagoya City Art Museum, and it has the Nagoya City Science Museum and Planetarium. The planetarium is kind of a big deal in Asia. I think it's the largest planetarium in all of Asia.
Wow.
Have you been?
I've seen it from the outside.
I've seen it from the inside. So I've been to the planetarium show. It's really nice. Even if you don't understand Japanese, it's pretty easy to understand. It's a beautiful show. I've been to the Nagoya City Art Museum a ton of times before COVID-19. They have a lot of local art in their collection, but they also have international artist exhibitions too. I remember there was a Klimt exhibition and a Musha exhibition right before COVID-19. So hopefully after the pandemic, it will open back up and you can experience some beautiful artworks here in Nagoya. But another thing about Fushimi is that it's not just these cultural centers and businesses, it's also a great place to go out at night.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if you don't know, Fushimi is a 10-minute walk from Sakai. It's almost the same area. Fushimi is known to be posh, while Sakai is known to be the downtown. It's full of more than the nightlife, I would say, more than bars. It has a lot of good restaurants. There's so much food, and it's all international. So far, I've tried really good Mexican food, Indian food, American food.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. No kidding. In Fushimi, and Italian, not to mention. Yeah, it has a lot of these restaurants all over the place. So even if you're just walking through the area, you're going to find many. And of course, there is near the planetarium, there is the Loft. The Loft department store, which has 8 floors of all you can think of shopping items, essentially.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
There's also the Shirokawa Koen nearby, isn't it?
Yes, so the Shirokawa Koen is located between Nagoya City Art Museum and the Science Museum. And it's a lovely place to relax because there's outdoor sculpture installed inside the park, so highly recommend it.
Oh, it has a lot of parks, right?
Yeah, tons.
There's so many.
It's a pretty green city, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Fushimi can be accessed via the Fushimi station on the subway Surumai line. It's also a 15-minute walk from Nagoya Station and a 10 to 15-minute walk from Sakai Station as well. So it's actually a very easy place to get to.
Next, let's talk about Higashiyama Koen. So I really want to talk about this place because it's best known for its zoo, but there's a lot of other things to do there.
Yeah.
The zoo is pretty famous in Nagoya, and attached to the zoo is the botanical garden, which has thousands of plant life. It's like a traditional Japanese garden. The best time to go to Higashiyama Botanical Garden is autumn.
Oh, really?
Yes, there is an autumn leaf viewing festival, and there's thousands of trees that are just so many colors. It's gorgeous, and they have a light illumination at night too.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and I've been to the zoo as well. The zoo is nice. Depends on your thoughts about zoos, right? So it might not be your cup of tea, as to say, to go to a zoo. However, the park area behind the zoo is really lovely. You can take a swan boat on a romantic date.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yes, you can take a swan boat. There's a beautiful lake behind it. It's a really beautiful place to go for a walk. You don't have to go to the zoo if you don't want to.
So what about that? I think there's a tower as well, right? You can actually see from a distance.
Yes, if you see a tower in Nagoya, it's the Sky Tower. It's located in Higashiyama Park. You can go up the tower as well. Yeah.
I've heard there's a French restaurant there at the I don't know which story, but there's a restaurant at the top, isn't it?
I've never been.
You've been? Oh. Right. Well, there is supposed to be a restaurant there.
The rumored French restaurant.
The rumored French restaurant.
Let us know.
Well, so in addition to all of that, in the same area, if you're now interested in the Higashiyama Zoo and Botanical Garden, there's also another huge park right across called the Heiwa Koen, and it has so many different areas.
Yeah, it's
One
huge.
of them is actually a cemetery.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, but other than that, there's the park area where you can jog. They have a huge lake where sometimes people come to fish.
Yeah, you can
as
fish
I've
there.
noticed. Yeah. So this is Heiwa Koen. And then there is this thing called the Chikusa Sports Center. Now, many of us students, we're not really physically active these days because of COVID and everything, but generally interest in sports is a roaring high. So if you're into things like swimming, if you want a gym, like a reasonably priced gym, and if you have interest in archery, if you just want to go shoot without joining any clubs, Chikusa Sports Center is the best option for you. As far as I remember, they have a 100 yen admission fee, and you can use any service, swimming, archery. Just have to bring your own equipment. So that's another recommended place. And the moment you move out of Higashiyama Koen area, you enter Hoshigaoka. Hoshigaoka is this really nicely developed shopping district that you can say.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the central area, central part of that eastern Nagoya portion, and has a lot of good restaurants and shops and outlets and karaoke bars and regular bars and everything. It's a really nice place to go. So accessing this place is actually one of the easiest because Higashiyama Koen, you can just walk from the backside of the university. If you're near the Toyota Auditorium area, it's about a 10-15 minute walk from there. It's a 10-15 minute walk from Motoyama. And Hoshigaoka is another 10-15 minute walk from Higashiyama Koen. Both of those places are also located on the subway Higashiyama line with their respective stations. So it's very easy to visit. Let's next talk about this hardly known place called Higashi Betsuin.
Yes, an underrated spot. Okay, have you ever been to Higashi Betsuin?
I have only passed it on the train, just as a station. I have no idea.
Yes, many people just pass Higashi Betsuin, but I'm here to tell you don't. So Higashi Betsuin is fantastic. So first, Higashi Betsuin is a beautiful temple in Nagoya City. I highly recommend going if you're into shrines and temples. Second, there are many events that are held on the temple grounds. One of my favorites is the morning market. The morning market happens 3 times a month, I believe, even during COVID. 8th, the 18th, and the 28th. So you'll have to choose between Higashi Betsuin and Osu on the 18th and 28th. But the morning market is more about local vendors, not really about secondhand goods. So you'll have a lot of local food, like restaurant stalls. You can learn more about local businesses at the morning market. It's really interesting. Highly recommend it. My favorite event at Higashi Betsuin is the Nagoya Vintage Market. It happens once a year, usually in May. You can find really amazing things at the Vintage Market. I went this past year and I found a giant Ronald McDonald head from a McDonald's restaurant. You can find vintage furniture from the 1970s, clothes from around the world. You can find anything. So this vintage market is not just Nagoya area sellers. It's from sellers all across Japan. It's like a big, huge event. What else can I say about Higashi Betsuin? Other than the temple, it's a really fun place to hang out. So my favorite restaurant in Nagoya is in Higashi Betsuin, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's called Early Birds, and it is a breakfast all day restaurant. It's American style breakfast, of course. I love it. It's very nostalgic for me, but the food is spectacular and it has a lot of art inside. It's attached to a bike shop. It's just really fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, you should go. And one of my favorite cafes is in Higashi Betsuin.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's Sora Cafe. They have homemade cakes and tarts, and they have great coffee and tea. And in the evening, they also are a cocktail bar.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, you should go. Higashi Betsuin's awesome.
Based on my limited knowledge, Higashi Betsuin can be accessed via the subway Meijo line on the Higashi Betsuin station.
Yes,
So-
it's also a 10-minute walk from Surumai Library.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Sort of my library, where is that?
It's in Surumai. So Surumai station on the Surumai line, pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We should go there.
Yes. Let's talk about Tokugawa Inn. I've only been there once. Have you been there?
I've been there about 3 times, actually.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'll let you take the lead on this.
So Tokugawa Garden is a very traditional Japanese garden located in Nagoya, which was built by the Tokugawa clan of Japan, the ones that were ruling Japan a few hundred years ago. It's a very beautiful garden. Yeah, a few hundred years ago. It's a very beautiful, very traditional Japanese garden with a small stream with cute koi carp fish.
Yeah, they are cute.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my favorite place to visit inside Nagoya for autumn leaf viewing in autumn, in around October, November, when the leaves turn red and everything. And because it's a Japanese traditional garden, the effect is twofold, threefold amplified because it really goes with the ambience and the surroundings. It's a really good place to visit. And in addition to that, if you're not into gardens but you're into history and museums, you've got the Tokugawa Art Museum for you as well, which is right beside the garden and was constructed by the same family as well. And it has armors and old paintings and scrolls and stuff dating back to the Tokugawa period of Japan. So you should really check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It can be accessed via the Ozone station on the subway major line, the JR line, and the Meidai Seto lines. Next, let's talk about the Nagoya Castle area.
Yes, so Nagoya Castle is a must-see. It is one of the largest castles in Japan. It is a reconstructed castle, but not the original, but it's still spectacular. Nagoya Castle grounds are really huge, and there's a lot of events going on. One of my favorite ones is in the summer. They have a summer festival every year, and you get to wear yukata, and you get to have Japanese food from the street stalls. And Nagoya City goes all out for their summer festival. I remember the last time I went, they hired DJs and dancers from Tokyo. So it was like a really contemporary feel. Like there was hundreds of people dancing and they were teaching you how to dance. So you don't have to know beforehand. You can just go, relax, have fun, buy a drink, buy some takoyaki, and you'll have a blast.
Yeah, the summer festivals, no matter where you go, there's some that are held at Nagoya Castle. There's one that's held at the airport. And they're amazing. They're just so awesome, and it's a really nice time to actually pull out your yukatas rather than indulge in the traditional summer dance.
Yeah, it's a cultural experience.
It's amazing. It's really nice. And right behind Nagoya Castle, there's also this small area of restaurants that are specializing in Nagoya food. So you have miso katsu, you have hitsumabushi, you have all those kinds of items available there. So that's a really a nice place to visit.
Yeah, there's also Meijo Koen, right?
Yes, I was just going to talk about that. Right beside Nagoya Castle is Meijo Koen, which translates to Nagoya Castle Park.
Yes.
Yeah. So Meijo Koen it's a very nicely developed park. Like, firstly, it has apart from the jogging, running aspects of the park, there's a lot of grassy area which is popular for picnics, especially during the sakura blossom season in spring, because there's a lot of sakura trees. So traditionally, it's a cultural thing to picnic under the cherry blossom trees on weekends. It's a beautiful experience. Everybody should give it a try. And there's also a windmill. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a windmill right in the center of the park. It gives it a really nuanced vibe. It's really beautiful. And again, if you're not into parks, we've got museums for you.
Yeah.
So right in front of Nagoya Castle is the City Hall and the Prefectural Hall. So both of them, they're not museums. They're actual functioning prefectural and city halls like government institution buildings, but they are architecturally amazing.
Yes.
They show
architectural history.
It's amazing. It's both of them are actually in some I think in Japan's most protected sites or heritage sites or something like that. Some of those lists. It's amazing. They're beautiful. The rooftops of both of those buildings, the design has been taken from Nagoya Castle's construction. So it's a fusion between Western architecture as well as traditional Japanese architecture. So it's really nice. And right behind it, okay, well not right behind it, but like a little while behind the city hall is where you find the Nagoya City Archives and Museum. So this used to be the Nagoya High Court, and that building was later converted into a museum. And if you go inside, it's a very traditional, well not traditional, but more like how do you say, a 19th century architecture, 19th century Western style Japanese architecture, okay, which was more popularized during the Meiji Restoration and like subsequently. So it's really beautiful. It looks unlike anything that's around it. And once you go inside, there's models of courtroom proceedings and even dungeons, if you would like to see that. So it's a really nice place to visit for like historical learning.
Yeah, the area sounds like a great historical walking tour.
It is. It actually is. And the best part about it is like everything is within like a 30-minute walking radius. Okay. And the street in front of the castle and the city hall is also beautiful. It even has a bus segment. Speaking of city hall, the Nagoya Castle and everything, they can be accessed via the Shiakusho station, which is the city hall station, and the Major Koen station on the subway Major line. There's also a direct bus from Nagoya station that goes through the central street and can drop you at Shiakusho. It is also very close to Sakai. It's in a 20 to 30-minute walking proximity. So if you're into walking, if you want to take a walking tour, you can actually start from Sakai.
Next, let's talk about Nagoya Port.
Nagoya Port. I mean, what do I even say? So the most popular activity or place to visit at Nagoya Port is the aquarium. It's very popular, right?
Yeah, the aquarium. It's really cool. Actually, it's the first aquarium I've ever been to in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I've had a lot of fun at the aquarium.
It's amazing.
It's really good. Also, around the aquarium, like the port area, there's a really cool like walking tour where you can walk around, and there are like landmarks and some like outdoor sculptures that tell you about the history of like Nagoya's maritime history. So I learned a lot about Nagoya, not just the aquarium, but walking around the aquarium.
There's even an old decommissioned ship which has been turned into a museum, which you can visit. I think,
Yes,
right?
yes, you can.
Yeah. In addition to the aquarium, there is a very small children's theme park
Yes.
right before you enter the port area, near the parking area. So it's designed like a carnival. So it has like merry-go-rounds, and it has a big Ferris wheel and small games for kids. But even adults can have a really good time there. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, like if you're a researcher here and you have your family with you, going to Nagoya Port is a great day trip.
Or if you're a researcher here and you're kind of done with research for a while, going to Nagoya Port is a really good thing to do.
Just be a kid for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. In addition to that, of course, it's a port. There's water. It's a really calming place to sit. There's benches, along the waterline. So you can just sit there, let the breeze hit you, listen to the sound of the waves, and just calm it down. On a nice, windy and cloudy day, it's actually a very beautiful place to go during the day. And so that was the port area, right? A little bit before you reach the port is this huge mall that was constructed, I think, about three and a half years ago, called Lala Port.
Yeah, so if you don't like nature, you can go to the mall. Sorry.
Yes.
Pull it together.
Yeah. In case you're not into nature, you can go to the mall. The mall is it's huge to start, and it's actually very different from the other malls. Like you have like Eon and something. I think it's rather Western in its construction.
Yes, it is.
And I'm used to Western malls. I'm not used to other malls. So it's actually a very nice place for me to visit. Many outlets, a lot of food options, especially the all-you-can-eat KFC and all-you-can-eat pizza.
What?
options. Yeah.
Okay, I want to go there.
I know. It's really nice. And right outside the mall is this big Starbucks with a library. Well, I think it's a library with a Starbucks.
Oh.
Yeah, or a bookstore with a Starbucks. I think it's Tsutaya bookstore with a Starbucks.
Oh.
It's amazing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really, really beautiful. Like if you wanna just go and take a day off and do some, for example, creative writing, if you're into that, I think that's a very good place to go.
That sounds great. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, me too. I saw that and I was like, I'm coming here again.
Wait, so how do you get there?
So there is this subway line called Meiko line, which actually translates to the Nagoya Port line. It branches off from Kanayama Station, and you can take the train all the way to the Nagoya Port Station, which is the last station on the line. So that's how you reach the port. But if you don't want to go to the mall, if you don't want to go to the port, if you just want to go to the mall, you can just get up at Tokaidori Station.
Okay.
So the mall is about a 10-ish minute walk from Tokaidori Station. Yeah. Very easy to access, not that hard.
All right, everyone, that's it for today. These were our top 10 places to check out in Nagoya City while you're studying here at Nagoya University. If there's anything that you would like us to discuss here on the show, please comment below.
So, like this video, share this video, subscribe this video. Also, join us on our Facebook page and on Instagram. And stay tuned for more MeidaiSay. Bye bye. Cheers.
See ya.